Welcome back to another video. I want to address a comment I received this morning on a previous video about lessons learned from the elders a couple days ago. And yeah, I'm on my AirPods and out for a walk right now. We're going to see if my son allows me to get this done. I don't need any notes or any screens for this one. All the thoughts are in my head. So let's dive in. As you guys know, if you've been following my channel for a while, lately we've definitely gone on a red pill journey together. And I mean the sexual strategy red pill, the community on Reddit. And before that, I was much more all over the place with what we were talking about, because remember that this channel, in the end, is a place for my son to hear me should anything happen to me. You know, I actually had a skin cancer scare a couple years back, and I realized that death can come at any time. I'm not invulnerable, and they definitely will say, you know, kids, and especially anyone who loses a loved one, eventually forgets what that loved one even sounds like. So having a place for my kid to hear my voice and my thoughts should anything happen to me, if I get a melanoma and die from skin cancer in the future or something like that. So on that note, you know, my topics were very wide ranging. I'm thinking of a 14-year-old boy who's going to need to learn some really important stuff that they don't teach you in school: fitness, finance, religion, and yeah, like the manly arts, how to seduce a woman, how to be in a relationship as the male energy, all that kind of stuff, right? And so I got this comment today, and I knew this was going to happen. And I don't know if my kid's going to let me do this video. He's screaming. Let's see. All right, let's see if that, I just put his little cover over his stroller. I think he likes that. It kind of quiets him down. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, we will take the notes from this video and do it later on my mic at home. But I did get a comment, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew the Christian viewership that I have was going to clash with the TRP viewership that I have, and that is fine. I want to use this video opportunity to bridge the gap between the two philosophies, if you want to call it that, the religion of Christianity and male sexual strategy of the red pill. So here's the comment, and I like this guy. I'm leaving his name out. I think you should focus on Jesus instead of TRP. Having read TRP stuff for years, I think it's poison. Trust God and he will lead a wife to your life if it is his will. Sex outside of marriage is fornication. So let's break the whole thing down, piece by piece, starting from the beginning. Having read TRP stuff for years, I think it's poison. Well, my friend, let me ask you a question. If you think it's poison, and I can totally understand why you would think that, why are you still reading it? Why are you intentionally poisoning your mind? Are you sure you think it's poison, or are you able to discern little bits of truth from what's being said there? Because if TRP is nothing else, it's brutal honesty, right? And it's hard to read. You can go and post questions on one of the relationship subs and get some really sugar-coated advice that isn't going to help you. Or you can go to TRP and take the narrow and hard path to being a man. And it's not easy. So I'm wondering, are you going there because you're thinking it's poison, but this guy, what he's saying is accurate, and this is true, and blah, blah, blah. So I ask you that. And then I also want to address the next part. Trust God and he will lead a wife to your life if it is his will. Oh, I absolutely agree. If it is your desire and God's desire, yes, he will lead a wife to you. But remember, and I did reply this to you, God only helps those who help themselves. If you think you're just going to show up to church and be fat and unattractive physically and have a slouch when you walk, your shoulders hunched over, your back in a very dangerous bending position as you look at the ground and kick your feet when your neighbor is introducing you to her 18-year-old virgin daughter, I mean, best of luck, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, women are still women. And even an 18-year-old virgin is going to prefer, look, if she has two options from the church, right? let's just say the 18-year-old girl has two options from the church. Both are 20-year-old males. Both are virgins. Both are stoic Christians. Who do you think she's going to choose? The guy who's lifting weights, doing reps for Jesus, or the guy who can't stop eating carbs and ice cream and Twinkies and is being a gluttonous sinner? I did an entire video on the sin of gluttony. Who do you think she's going to choose? I mean, she's not going to choose the guy who's nicer, and she's not going to choose the guy who is less attractive. So TRP, I think you mistake it for a pure pickup artist subreddit. And I understand why you do, because so many people on that community are, quote unquote, spinning plates. If you've heard this term and you haven't, let me explain. Spinning plates is a metaphor for keeping a rotation of 5 to 6 women that you are not in a committed relationship with and you can have sex with. And that is definitely a theme that is pretty prevalent on the TRP sub. That being said, LTRs, long-term relationships, which is what you're wanting, and what I have currently, are less discussed, but they're not forbidden by the philosophy. They're just basically hard mode. And I agree. I mean, focusing on one relationship and making it work and being the man is harder work than not having to do any kind of, any level of commitment, any type of game. You basically just bang and then kick them out. You don't have to spend any other time with them. And some girls like it. They really do. And you're upfront about it. And you tell them you're not the only girl I'm banging. I mean, girls will always want to share an alpha than keep a beta for themselves. This is the sad truth. And my man, I hear you 100%. Fornication is a sin. I am probably going to burn in purgatory. If I'm lucky, I'm going to burn in purgatory for what I've done. If I'm not, and maybe you'll think this too, I'm going straight to hell for all the fornication I have done. I absolutely agree it is a sin, and I'm not even going to debate that. Sex before marriage is a sin in the eyes of God and in the eyes of Jesus. It's in the 10 Commandments. Jesus elaborated much further on that in the Gospels, but it is a commandment that we must be aware of. And I commend you, if you're a virgin and you're looking for a wife who is also a virgin and a Christian, I truly commend you. I really, really wish the sexual revolution of the 1960s never happened, but it did. And let me tell you the difference between the two times. Before the sexual revolution of the 1960s, women were very well aware of what their desires could lead to, and they shamed other women. So if you were a whore, you would literally get chased out of town by the other women. If you slept with a man who had a wife and you were the mistress, they would go after you, not the man. After the 1960s, the summer of love, becoming a whore and sleeping with every guy you talked to became celebrated. It was a sexual revolution, and it was a terrible thing for the family and for our society. And so we're still, unfortunately, living in the time of the 1960s sexual revolution. E. Michael Jones has done an amazing video on sexual revolutions. I actually haven't even watched it. I've only heard. But knowing E. Michael Jones, I can only assume about what it's about. And for you to want, I commend you, because for you want a wife, a Christian wife. You are definitely taking the hard and narrow path, and I definitely applaud you. So please don't take this as any kind of negativity towards you. I absolutely think you're heading down the right path, my friend. Now, the only thing I would tell you is, the TRP stuff that you think is poison. The spinning plate stuff, that is poison to your ears for sure. I understand, and just stay away from it. Focus on the stuff that talks about it being in an LTR. You want an LTR, a long-term relationship. You want someone to spend the rest of your life with and have your babies. But if you go and look at the videos I've done recently, by the way, all of which have a TRP post associated to them. You have to follow my Reddit name to see them. It's once_profane on Reddit. u/once_profane on Reddit. All the stuff I focus on is not on pickup. There are so many other pickup posts, I don't even touch it. Like, that stuff is over and done with. I'm all about building power and becoming a man. And in so doing that, you will attract this Christian virgin wife that you want. And God, I really wish, and I don't take his name in vain when I say this, I really wish I had come to this knowledge when I was 15, because instead I was all about watching porn and looking for girls to eventually have sex with. And all the relationships I had until about the age of 23 or 24 were all fornicating flings. And to be honest, I got tired of them. At a certain point, I wanted relationships with some of those women, and they didn't. They were still finding themselves, as they say. The 1960s revolution has ruined everything, has ruined the family, has ruined the chances for most men to get married. So how do you fight back? You follow the advice from TRP. Just don't focus on the spinning plates. I know you don't want to be a pickup artist, but some of that pickup stuff is useful. You don't have to do it all. And if you think you're manipulating a woman, then don't do it. But you certainly can become a better man, which would be an example of you helping yourself and then allowing God to help you, because God helps those who help themselves, and you know it. If you're just going to sit back and expect God to put a wife in your life with no effort on your part, you know it's not going to happen. So I don't think TRP and Christianity are necessarily mutually exclusive topics, unless you start talking about fornication with multiple women, in which then they would be. But the PUA community, the pickup artist community that dwells within TRP, is what you want to stay away from. But building power, building financial success is not. I mean, men who can provide resources to their women are the men who are getting married in the Bible, in the Old Testament and the New Testament. They had farms. They were able to provide safety to their women. There's nothing that's against TRP in that. I actually really appreciate your feedback. Like, I really do. And I hope not to lose you as a subscriber. But even if I did, I totally understand. And at a certain point, when this channel, if this channel ever becomes really popular, I will probably split off into a new channel that only focuses on religion. But for now, this is the channel that I want my son to have if he needs it in the future. So I hope that helps address your comment. And I realize, like I said, not all my Christian viewers are TRP viewers, and I think even a few Christian women subscribe to this channel. They must be thinking, holy crap, what did I subscribe to? And I don't blame them either. And like I said, man, I agree with a lot, but take TRP as not the pickup artist sub, though many of that stuff focuses on it. If you go to that website, stay away from the posts. Go to the sidebar and focus on certain articles that are not about pickup. Like, you don't need to read the Book of Puck, for example. I think it's a great book, but maybe not the right book for you. I would definitely focus on some other articles about building power and becoming an alpha male. If you're a gamma male, you're gonna find it hard for even God to lead a wife to you, my friend. You got to help yourself, okay? And I hope that was super helpful, because I totally wish, like, maybe you're young still and you can stay on this path. Like, this path was, I don't want to say taken from me, but not shown to me, because I grew up with atheists who had nothing against what I was doing for the most part. And I grew up in an urban area that is very liberal atheist, where women are celebrated for being whores. If you live in the countryside, like if you drive 1 or 2 hours outside of any major blue city in the US, you will get into a red area. And generally, kids are getting married at a young age in these areas. And I used to kind of like make fun of those people. I'd be like, oh, those people up north, they're just like getting married right out of high school. That's super weird. But no, we were the bad ones. We were the sinners. They were the good ones. And they understood that because they had the proper upbringing from their parents. So if that's you, please stay on this path. I'm just saying, you need to continue self-improvement in order to help yourself, which then God will recognize to help you. Does that make sense, my friend? And I hope you can comment here and let me know what your thoughts are on this particular video. I had some other videos planned for today, but for today. But I'm gonna throw this one in first. I think this is a really, really good comment that you gave me, and let me know your thoughts, friend. And God bless you. Okay, everyone, have a great day.